So I'll begin the interview. So Ryan, just firstly, tell me a bit about yourself and what prompted you to start Sentient Sports.
Yeah, so my background is in AI academia. So I was doing a PhD at the University of Southampton, but that came about through, I guess, doing computer science on my undergrads and just really looking at all of the computing power that's available on the different algorithms and being able to apply them to sports just as a side project, really. And I was lucky enough to be able to turn that into my PhD in my research area. So I effectively had freedom to explore all of these cool AI algorithms and all of these methods that were being used for drone management, emergency response, defense, and basically apply them into sports and got hold of some football data and managed to publish a number of papers in this area. They focused on things like teamwork, player chemistry, they looked at game theory in sports, looking at natural language processing, all of these type of things, and just really getting to play with that data at a whole new level. Um, and yeah, that was a great way to combine my passions of sports and AI and sports and computer science together. So obviously wanted to continue this beyond the PhD. So thought the best way to do that was being able to set up the business and be able to push forward. We were lucky enough, I say lucky, but during COVID, I guess we had a lot of clubs who were looking to do things in different ways, looking to use technology in different ways because they couldn't go to grounds and couldn't go and scout players. And that really is what started the business, was in that recruitment area and being able to apply all of our research into helping clubs add forward-looking assurance and risk assurance to player transfers.
Super. So, and obviously, so who are the organization, the stakeholders you're currently working with within the sports ecosystem?
Yeah, so we started working in recruitment for a long time and worked with about 30 teams across Europe throughout COVID on this. However, we decided to pivot to look more at fan engagement. We wanted to put cutting edge AI in the hands of as many fans as possible and as many sports stakeholders as possible. We thought the best way to do this was be able to target our AI systems at fans to be able to provide new content and be able to provide a new interface, I guess, to data without having to use APIs or dashboards or spreadsheets. Any fan can go on and ask questions to an AI system about data, about simulations, about match predictions, whatever it might be, to be able to learn more about the game. We really think this adds a new level to where AI is going. I think over the last few years, ChatGPT, Bard, Anthropic, all of these huge companies have built these amazing models that are great for like copywriting. They're great for improving workflows, but what they're not great at is that domain specific area because they're all effectively trained on the open web. They're all trained on these huge data sets, which means they become very similar. But what we're able to do is use our algorithms that learn the sport, so whether it be football or cricket or any of the other areas we're working in, to effectively provide domain understanding to these AI systems so that they can know about football and it can be real time. It can know the results from yesterday. It can know the results from an hour ago to be able to feed this to the user and then effectively operate in the same way as a chat GPT so they can ask questions back and forward from it. And then we can learn from that. So we can say, well, if you've used the system to ask 5 questions, maybe I know who your favorite team is. I know who your favorite players are. I know what type of content you like. And then using that information, we can serve ultra personalized content. So I can serve you an article about, if you were an Arsenal fan in Thailand, I could say, well, an article about Arsenal's last game. It's in Thai. It's in their local language. It makes the fan feel closer to their club.
Super. And Ryan, like you mentioned, AI, it suddenly became a buzzword post-COVID within the sports industry. And I mean, I myself, every day you get at least like 10 requests like this, it's
Yeah.
flooded almost the system. How does someone like your organization stands out? I mean, what do you think is that one USP which makes you stand out among, the thousands of AI verticals we have now?
Yeah, I think part of our USP comes from our team. AI has been around a lot longer than 2 years. So we've built a team that is made up of experts in the space through generations of AI. On our board alone, we've got Professor Nick Jennings, who is a sort of legend in the AI space, had sort of 90,000 citations on his AI papers from sort of 30 years ago, really been pioneering in this area. And then he supervised Gopal Ramcharan. So he's a professor in AI. He now runs Responsible AI UK, big flagship UK government program. He was then my supervisor and taught me what I know in my PhD. So we've got that 3 generations of AI talent, which is a big part of I guess, our understanding of the space. Like we're not following a buzzword. We've been really in the trenches in AI for a long, long time combined between us. We've got lots of PhDs in the space, and really we're academic experts that are now really focusing in on this area. We've obviously got a really good commercial team as well that are able to point us in the right direction, and some really, really good experts like Ed Woodward in that space. But yeah, that's a big part of what we do. So when we build out technology, we really try and go at it from a high level. We're saying, well, what are the AI technologies that can really push sports forward into the digital landscape? So instead of being product focused and building one product and that's what we live and die by, we build AI that can drive a number of different products. So it can drive an experience which is generative AI. It can be like a ChatGPT model. We've got experiences that can be driven by the same tech that's sort of causal AI, which is effectively allowing you to simulate different scenarios. So if a catch was dropped in cricket, if that was taken, how would that have affected the outcome of the game, and being able to tweak all of that and simulate forward in different ways. And then we can use it for social good as well. We've got technology that can go out onto social media and identify players who are at risk because they've been abused, and then feeding that back to the clubs. So we're really, I'd say, using the AI to power all of these different experiences. And our USP comes from that understanding in the space and being able to really adapt and be able to solve many problems in sports.
And who are the current organizations you're working with? Like, are you working with any football club or cricketing organization? And if you can just give me an example of where you've seen a problem and through AI you've managed to resolve it.
Yeah, so we've been working with some clubs in the Premier League as well as in the MLS. I can't say which ones are because we're under contract with them, but I think some of the problems we're looking to solve with AI is so one example is clubs have built out of these huge data sets. So they're very good at like having specific data scientists at the club who are using the data from training, from games, whatever it might be. But there's a disconnect in the club between the data team and the scouting team and the coaching team. So you've got the technical side and you've got the coaching and sporting side. Before, all you could do is go use the sporting side. They'd have to go and send an email, and they'd have to write a report and then feed back. What we can do now is set up like virtual data scientists. So all of the good work that's being done by the data team can be fed into this virtual data scientist through LLM technology, so that the sporting side can ask questions to an AI to access the data they need to use. So instead of it being, API, spreadsheets, dashboards, whatever it might be, it's just like, tell me what you know about the player I've just seen as a scout, or tell me how I can reduce the injury risk of this player who looks like he's going to pick up a knock in training. You slowly start to build efficiencies in the organization in completely different ways. It's really exciting.
Wow. So what you're doing is basically elite Moneyball, where you're aligning like everything together. So as a club comes together and there's more alignment and people know around about different verticals, because I think that is the problem with the clubs. I was earlier talking to England Athletics CEO Chris Jones, and speaking to other people from MLB, and they said they've been AI is something like they're very interested in, like they're trying to integrate it within their organization and trying to work more and more, etc. with them. So with the current team which you have, obviously it's fantastic. What's the vision, what's the future do you see for your organization, like yeah in say, just tell me like the next 1 or 2 years, where do you see
Yeah.
yourself, the organization headed?
No, it makes sense. Yeah, I think we want to be AI innovation partners to clubs and organizations. So we want to do that across UK sports and football. We want to do that in America and also across Asia and India in particular. We think setting up these AI innovation partnerships will allow us to prove the concepts that by using these AIs to power different things throughout a club, you're able to provide efficiencies both on and off the pitch. So fan engagement is a huge part of that. But like I said, that performance side is still there. There's still efficiencies to be gained there with AI. I think if we can prove that with some no clubs, some really innovative clubs and innovative owners who are really looking to do things differently, then I can see the whole sporting organizations, the whole landscape wanting to follow behind that, because it's proven the concept. It always needs those first pioneer clubs to use something. Yeah, you mentioned Moneyball, and sort of Oakland A's did the data stuff, and then everybody else wanted to do the same thing. I think it's the same with AI. I think whichever vertical it gets used in, and like I said, it could be in fan engagement, it could be off the pitch as well, but I think other clubs will want to follow in behind that. A good example might be, I think a big use of the technology will be to set up direct to consumer revenue streams digitally from the global fan bases of clubs. I think if you're a Man United fan in Indonesia, then there's currently no way for them to connect together. Everything's in English. The Indonesian fans wearing a fake shirt, watching illegal streams, whatever it might be. But it's a massive Man United fan, could be the biggest Man United fan in the world. There's no connection to the club. The club doesn't know who that person is. But with the technology now, you can start to serve content in their local language to that fan and ultimately set up low barrier to entry revenue streams where it could be £1 a month or even less to effectively say, well, Man United are now generating a new experience for that fan, but also they know who they are, they've got their email, and they also get small revenue streams from them. So I think if any club can prove the concept that they're able to drive direct to consumer revenue, then that'll be amazing. I think every club will want that. Then everyone's going to want this direct to consumer digital revenue stream that we think we can generate for them.
And again, I mean, are there any challenges doing this? I mean, security might be one of the, like issues because every country has different security
Yeah.
laws, etc. So how do you plan to like maneuver through, like, say, for example, something which works in India might not work in Malaysia, etc. So how are you going to go about it?
Yeah, there's definitely it's an evolving landscape that needs to be navigated accordingly. And I think it's just keeping our ears close to the ground around how this navigates, but also having key partners in those areas. I think that's important. India, for example, we're working with some people in that space who know the Indian market very well and can help us navigate that, can help us talk to the right people in those areas to expand effectively. But yeah, it's definitely one of the ones that, from a regulation perspective, country to country, will evolve over time. I'd imagine there'll be the EU tends to lead things and be the most strict. So if you follow the most strict, it tends to be easier with the least strict ones. So yeah, we'll just keep an eye on that and being driven by our chairman Gopal Ramchan. He's at the forefront of that with the UK government and with what's going on in the AI space. So we can definitely navigate that space. Yeah, as optimally as we can.
And that's super because and there are a lot of opportunities. I mean, I am based out of India, and I work with different clubs, etc.
Yeah.
For example, recently Norwich City, Sam,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Sam Jeffrey, he's a commercial director. So they partnered with NISL Club. So I see a lot of synergies, like, you guys can work together. And the good thing is when, two clubs from different countries are partnering is getting into that, integrating the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can give in your AI expertise and, maybe someone can try to expand their business, etc., whatever they want in the UK, etc. So so tell me something, like where across are you working in India? I mean, is it like you can't talk about it? If that's there, then
No,
that's fine.
I think from a high level, I think the most exciting thing for me is around fantasy sports in India. I look at India and it's almost 10, 15 years behind where the US was in that space, where DraftKings and FanDuel effectively took over the market there. India's now got Dream 11, which is absolutely flying, 220 million users. But that's almost the entry point to sports betting, which is a really tough place to navigate. But it's definitely that skill based betting where people can go on there, they can create their teams and
They
experience
will
sport.
hate. Sorry to cut you in between. They will really not like you using the betting word. Like I'm very good friends with the founders,
Yes.
Harsh and Pavel. The entire system is like tanking because the government, as soon as the betting word comes, it's
Yeah.
immediately like, the taxation increase, etc. So they're in a bit of a lurch. So
Yes. Yeah. I've heard
what they like to call it is skill-based game.
skill based
If
gambling.
you, yeah,
Yeah.
see again, see, like gambling and betting, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a no-no. Like the moment I tell Bhavit or Harsh, it's like, it's a gray area. I mean, betting is taroka. Do not use the word betting,
Don't use the B
please.
word. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
no. And because I spoke with these other betting app guys, Parry Match and these other people
Yeah.
who came to India and they tried to do it, through a different way. They try to advertise and they still do. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, so it's a bit of a very gray area, which will get like them in trouble, maybe future if we don't get those betting laws in place. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's the thing. I think you look at the US, we're probably in a really similar position 10 years ago, and then 10 years forward, now everyone can just do normal betting. And it's certainly not a grey area. But like you said, the taxation is a really key part of that. I know the GST around fantasy sports in
It's
India is, yeah, a very tough place at the moment for that. But I think really it's still brilliant to innovate. Like 220 million users. Forget about the revenue and the betting side at the moment, but that's incredible. That's 220 million sports fans who are looking for a new way to experience sports digitally. And I think that's the opportunity. So for us, being able to build out technology that can feed into that, because at Sentient, we don't need to be the sort of front facing end of this. We don't need to be the Dream 11. We don't need to be the athletic, whatever it needs to be. We're white labeling. We can be powered by Sentient. And I think being able to partner with a Dream 11 or partner with another fancy provider in India, we can then be able to effectively give them new experiences to, yeah, which give Indian fans a new way of watching cricket, whatever it might be. That's what's really exciting for me rather than the B word.
Super. Brilliant. I mean, I think you answered all my questions. And if there's anything you need from me, you can always let me know. Like, if anything in the Indian landscape. I mean,
Yeah.
I studied in Sheffield, Hallam. So, and I worked in the UK for 3 years. I was there. And so, if there's anything you need from the Indian, even the APAC landscape, I'd be more than happy to
Yeah.
help.
Amazing.
And
Whereabouts are you
what
based? Are you in Delhi or are you in?
I keep traveling to Delhi, yes. So, I run my own company, like Playnox. We
Yeah.
do grassroots